Was I surprised? Yes, indeed I was. I'm not totally shocked because I had indication that things went together, but it was a surprise to see the degree to which they go together. And that leads to a fundamental reinterpretation that when people say they approve or trust, it doesn't really mean that they approve or trust. It just means that more or less things are going well or more or less things are going badly. And in particular, what we see over and over again is that approval of public officials seems to have nothing whatsoever to do with what they've actually done in office. That if a particular person is angry on a day because their garbage wasn't picked up, they hold Barack Obama responsible, as if he were the guy hanging off that yellow garbage truck who should have picked up the garbage that morning and didn't. They hold him responsible. And when American athletes do well in the Olympic Games, we give the credit to the President of the United States, who had absolutely nothing to do with that outcome. And so the interpretation that arises that people approve when they're feeling good about things and they disapprove when they're feeling bad about things, and it's not really an evaluation of particular public officials at all. One of the interesting observations, I've noted that September 11th was an all-time high in trust of Americans for their government, and in some cases you could see that. You could think of, for example, Mayor Giuliani in New York City, who had performed spectacularly in the midst of a crisis, and maybe Governor Pataki of the state of New York, because he had a responsibility for dealing with that crisis. But then we turned to the rest of the country. The other 49 states had governors, and all their trust went up too. They didn't do anything. They just stood on the sidelines, and yet for some reason they became more trustworthy after September 11th than they had been before.